This is an urgent appeal from the Disasters Emergency Committee. Hundreds of thousands of people have fled their homes to escape conflict in Ukraine, leaving jobs, belongings and loved ones behind. They need shelter, food and water. You can help. To donate online, search DEC or text radio to 70150 to give £10. Thank you.
Streaming 24/7, this is Brum Radio.
Thank you for downloading this Brum Radio podcast. For more podcasts, visit brumradio.com.
You're listening to Brum Radio. I'm Dave Massey. I'm down at the Birmingham Hippodrome and I'm joined by Lesley Joseph. Hi, Lesley.
Hello, how are you?
Really well today. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, but I'm sitting in a costume which is very tight and I'm flowing out everywhere. So, yes, I'm sitting dressed as Queen Dragonella at the moment.
And this is your character for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is coming to Birmingham Hippodrome for Christmas. And it's literally like 3 days before Christmas that it starts.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We're opening very late this year, the 21st of December, which is, I think, later than I've ever opened a pantomime. So obviously they've got their reasons, but and we're playing through till the 2nd of February, so it's quite a late opening.
It's because we've got the Nutcracker in front of her. That's why.
We do love the Nutcracker, especially the Birmingham Royal Ballet, so I love the Nutcracker.
So at what time did you get into this outfit this morning?
I got into this outfit early, about 9:30, I think, and I'm going to stay in it till about 5 o'clock. So, it's a bit difficult to eat in this costume, but there you are.
Now, most of the people that have joined Matt Slack over the past few years haven't done panto seasons in Birmingham before, but you have.
Oh, I've done panto for 28 years. I've worked with Matt 4 times. Matt and I call ourselves mother and son. That's how we talk to each other, because we're like a sort of double act. I'm like his mother and I tick him off, and I love working with Matt. I really do. He's now been here 7 years, but I think I opened here in 1991 in pantomime with John Nettles doing Dick Whittington way back. It was supposed to be Les Dawson, and then Les pulled out and then unfortunately passed. So I go back a long way with pantomime, I think. And then I did Robinson Crusoe here with Brian Connie. Yes. I've worked a lot here with pantomime, and I love it. It's a fantastic theatre for pantomime, and it's got a great pantomime tradition. It's a fabulous theatre altogether, and because you've got the Birmingham Royal Ballet, they're used to big shows, and this is a very big show. I love Snow White because you've got drama as well as comedy. Cinderella's a beautiful show, people love Cinderella, but personally I think Queen Dragonella, as I'm being called, a bit Game of Thrones this year because I've got dragons, is more fun for me because Fairy Godmother is quite nice and she's quite, except the way I play her, she gets a bit bored sometimes and tries to stir it up and be not so nice. But I love playing a baddie because then you can do bad things, you can do sweet things, and you can do magic, and you do everything.
Now, Lesley, this year I saw you come and be in Calendar Girls in Birmingham Hippodrome. How was that as an experience?
Yeah, that was good, but that was the 3rd time I've done that, you see. I've done the play twice, so I'm quite used to that. People say, how do you feel stripping off? But of course you strip off. People on stage can see you, but people in the audience get a much more muted vision of me behind knitting. Of course, on stage you see much more. But that's great fun, and that's a sort of foolproof show, really. It always got a standing ovation. It was always well received, and that's and I love theatre. I love live theatre. I like working with an audience. The difference between doing something like Calendar Girls the musical or panto is things can change in pantomime. They don't normally. Mm-hmm. You normally stick within a certain framework, but if things go wrong, as they sometimes can, if somebody's off, if somebody corpses, which means you laugh outside character, things like that can happen, and you can deal with it in panto, whereas you can't so much in a straight play or a musical. You have to stick to the script.
Fantastic. This year also you played Miss Hannigan as well.
Well, I'm going back into Annie for 9 weeks, but I love Hannigan. I did that back in 1997, so that's sort of in my DNA, really. I've done it for so long, and that's a classic show. That's a brilliant show. It's lasted. People say, why does it last so long? It's a bit like pantomime in a way that you can bring a whole family to Annie. Yes. You can take a granny, or you could take a 2-year-old, and they'll get a great experience from it. Kids want to be Annie. Little girls want to be Annie. They want to sing Hard Luck Life. They want to sing Tomorrow. They absolutely love it. In the same way that kids coming to pantomime, you can't even begin to explain how magical it is for a child, and also for an adult as well, that you come into a magical land of escapism. And let's face it, everybody goes through hard times at some point in their life. And to come into the theatre to see something like Annie or pantomime, it takes you away. You leave your problems at the door and you come in and you enter this amazing world. So I love live theatre for that reason.
Fantastic. What was your first experience of theatre? Was it being on stage, or do you think it was watching?
I went on stage first, age 7, and I sang a song from Hansel and Gretel. With your feet, you tap, tap, tap. With your hands, you clap, clap, clap. Right foot first, left foot, then round about and back again. That theatre is now closed. That was a new theatre in Northampton. And I used to enter competitions. I used to belong to an amateur group. And then I went to drama school, and then everything kicked off from there. And I remember going to see a show, I'm a bit older than probably most people, called Where the Rainbow Ends. Mm-hmm. Nobody else remembers it. But I think I said to somebody about it, and then somebody sent me pictures of Where the Rainbow Ends in the West End. They never do it now, but I used to go and see shows at the Royal Theatre, which is a lovely old Victorian Matcham theatre in Northampton. The theatre's just, I've been doing it since I was 4, really. That's what I wanted to do. I've no idea why, because none of my family were in the business, but yeah, it's always been in my DNA, really.
Amazing.
So you're quite well known for playing naughty characters. And you've done quite a few pantomimes by now. Are there still any characters you'd love to play that you haven't quite done yet?
Within pantomime, you see, I would love to play in pantomime. I've done Cinderella. I've never done Aladdin, and I would quite like to play one of the genies. I would like to play Mother Goose as well. I'd love to try a pantomime that I've never done. The first pantomime I ever did was Babes in the Wood, but nobody does that now. I think it's a slightly challenging title. But I'd like to try one of the pantomimes I've never done. I'd love to try that. Sometimes I'd like to play Dame, but of course Dame is historically a man playing a woman. But I'd love to try doing something else different. But I'm not quite sure what pantomimes I would like. But yeah, for Pantomime Land, I'd love to try something different.
Are there any characters outside of pantomime that you'd still love to do? Well,
you see, I'd love to do all the great Chekhov characters, all the great grand dames of Chekhov. But again, I'm not so sure how many people do Chekhov now. I've never worked at the National. I'd love to go to the National and do something. So, yeah, I mean, there are things I still want to do. Although if you said all you can do for the rest of your life is pantomime and musicals, I'd be very happy to, because I love the sound of a band striking up. I love musicals. I love pantomime. I'd like to do, I used to do Shakespeare. I used to do Chekhov when I first went into the business. So I'd like to still do those, but there's so many plays still to do. So, yeah, lots of characters I'd like to still get my hands on.
Lesley, thank you so much. This production, the Brum Panto, is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is on from the 21st of December until Sunday the 2nd of February at the Birmingham Hippodrome. You can buy tickets online for this. Lesley, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this Brum Radio podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on your podcast app.